is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor.
Hello and welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and open up those Zoom room doors and let everyone in. My name is Ruth Ellen Sanchez and I'm going to be your host today for Daily with Doc and Becca. And always give a shout out to Becca. Can't wait till you're back. And I hope you're having a good time. Also, this program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. And if somebody referred you to this program, please make sure to get back with them because they are going to be your absolute point of contact. And one more thing that I have to do. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA, and testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results may vary and may not be typical, and we do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options. So today we have a very special guest. I'm very excited that Raymond Brown is going to be joining us today, and he is a motivational speaker and just a powerhouse. And him and his wife Yolanda are like an amazing couple, and together they're like dynamite. They're just amazing, and I love them so much. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Raymond on with me, and I'm really looking forward to what Raymond is going to share. I'm sorry, I just had to do some.
Come on.
There we go. I forgot to.
We all on the same team.
Yes, we are. I know. And you know, that's one of the things I love about you guys. And you make people feel comfortable. Like there's no judgment. It's just love.
Yeah.
And you always have words of wisdom. I've never, ever heard you speak an unkind word about anyone or anything. ever. So, and we're all human, so I'm not, and we make mistakes, but it's really wonderful.
Yeah.
So what are we
Well,
talking about today?
well, we discussed one of the principles of we take ourselves with us no matter where we go, right? As human beings or as beings, spiritual beings, whatever, we always take ourselves wherever we go. And so you want me to just go ahead and start rattling or reading or whatever I'm going to do?
Yes.
I want to premise this, Ruth Ellen, by saying, for some reason, when I was a young man, I knew that I was different in the way that I thought. And not that I thought I was better or anything like that, but when people would do things and say things, I noticed how most of the people in the crowd or in the classroom or in the family or wherever we were would think a certain way. And I didn't think that way. Right. And I don't know if that was I was born with it or or I developed it some kind of way. I don't know. And it kind of goes back to, why some people pursue wisdom and why some people don't. I've never come to a conclusion. Are there people born to be that way and everybody else not? Are there some people born to pursue the light and other people pursue to be or just choose to be normal and go along with the crowd? That's something I've never figured out. But if I do, guys, I'm gonna write a book, right? And we all gonna profit from the proceeds. How about that? Good deal?
Yes, it's a good deal. Thank you.
Good deal. So when Yolanda and I first came into the industry of network marketing, guys, we were programmed to program for business. It was all about reaching your goals and dreams and trying to secure your family financially, those types of things. And so the product, we had a wonderful product, but most people were trying to, buy an extra bedroom set or a kitchen net or, a stove or a car, help or make a car payment with the money they were earning. We didn't talk about much about the product. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that I don't want to set the table where, we didn't have any scruples or morals or anything. We were just money hungry. But as far as Yolanda and I was concerned, I wanted to secure my family as much as possible. If there was something possible that I could do, I wanted to secure my family. If there is such a thing. And all I wanted, guys, was basically, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. We live in Sugar Land or in Houston, and we have hurricanes and bad weather here and floods and things like that. And I just said that, look, if I could earn an extra $3,000 a month, this was 26 years ago. This is year 2000. If we could earn enough where I said $33,000, $3,500 would be enough for me to, if our house got flooded, like a lot of the houses here do, I could get us a small apartment, a small car, and put food on the table. And regardless of what happens, right? Or if we had to leave this city because of the flooding or whatnot, wherever we go, we could find a little place and we could live. And that's basically what I set out to do. Now, I also wanted to help people at the same time, and that's where the product came in. So in order for me to, I understood in order for me to reach those goals, I had to deal with people. And really that is the product. People are our product, not the product, because the product doesn't sell itself. The product doesn't initially deal with people. We deal with people. They believe us or not believe us, or we form the relationship with them or not. The product doesn't do that. So I wanted to understand as much as possible about human beings and the way we think, the way we act, and all of those things in order for me to deal with people on a successful basis. So that's what I set out to do, reading books and listening. I've been studying spiritual principles for probably 55, 56 years or so. And but that was for just individual purposes. But for business wise, I had to understand, I knew that I had to understand people. And if I wanted to get where I wanted to go for me and my family, that was one thing I had to do, and I couldn't shortcut it. And I didn't want to depend on luck or happenstances or anything like that, right? So I started reading and studying people and our behavior. And then I learned that there are certain principles that govern us as human beings and as spiritual beings. And I learned some of those principles. Now, I'm sure I haven't learned all of them, but that's exciting because that means I got something to look forward to, something to learn. I'm a student of life, and I hope most of us are. The only reason we're here, guys, is to evolve. That's the only reason we're put here. So that was kind of the foundation of me and Yolanda's beginning of this beautiful industry. So what I did today, Ruth Ellen and gang, I wrote down a few things, and I just wanted to, at the very beginning of this, I want everybody to take what you want and leave the rest. Because I've understood, some people, when you start talking about personal stuff and spiritual stuff, people will say, well, that's, I don't believe that. Well, that's what I mean by take what you want and leave the rest. I'm not here to advocate that my way is the only way and the best way. It's the best way for me. And it comes from my personal and Yolanda and I personal experiences in this business and in life. So, so take what you want and leave the rest, right? So don't leave here saying, well, Raymond said this and said this. No, everybody have had their own spirit, their own experiences in life. And that's what we operate from, right? And that's why you can find two people can look at the same thing and see something totally different. I've noticed this. Have you ever looked at a person and they remind you of somebody exactly of another person, a movie star or another person, a neighbor or somebody you knew growing up, and then you say that to your husband, your wife, or your brother, sister, whoever. You say, don't that look like so and so? And they'll say things like, yeah, they kind of favor them. But to you, it looks exactly like that person. So we come here with different perspectives and different experiences. And that's why you can see, you heard me say this before, I think, with Ellen on the last time I spoke, is that you can take a guy and a girl and they get into a relationship and something happens and she says that I can't believe that you said that to me. Well, from his experience in life, his family, maybe that was normal. And it's not out of the realm of normal for him. But to her, that was way out of bounds, right? And so that's where we come in the conflict. Well, conflict setting is because we all have different experiences, and we bring our different experiences to life and to relationships and to everything, like even these speeches. I mean, what I'm talking about now, you know, the way you comprehend something is different than the way somebody else comprehend what I'm saying, because their experiences are different in life and what they've experienced. And that's the only reason why. So take what you want and leave the rest. So life can be difficult or it can be easy. And as Michael Singer says, so when life is basically difficult because we don't get what we want. And have you ever noticed that it's easy when we're getting everything we want? That's kind of what it boils down to. And that's why we suffer. We suffer because we're not getting what we want. And so when we don't get what we want, we suffer. And so in reality, that's why we suffer. That means that unless we discover how to do something differently, we're going to suffer pretty much all the time. Even when we get what we want, we get to that place and we get the way the mind works, we get scared we're going to lose it. Oh, Lord, how long is this going to last? What can I do to make him stay or her stay? Or what can I do to make them continuously like me, you know, on the job or friendship or whatever, you know? So the mind is always in conflicts. It's a very disturbed place to be. So we start when we start worrying about how to keep it, or worrying about how to worrying about when we might lose it. So the only way that I've learned over life, and this may help you, is to relax in life. Has anybody ever heard me or anybody say that the first principles of success in life is to learn to relax first? And that is the first principle. I don't care, guys, what we are doing, whether we're handling a difficult problem, whether it's physical or whether it's mental or whatever the case may be, whether we're doing a three-way call or whatever, is learn to relax. And we all have been through that process before of learning how to relax. And how to relax is, I'll just one of the ways I learned is this, and it helped me out tremendously. This is, I don't care if you go into a meeting or you're getting ready to get on a call, a difficult call where you're gonna, you know, it may be not so kind or it's gonna be difficult, is to relax your shoulders, relax your chest, relax your stomach, and relax your hips. And that's just one of the little things you can help in life that will help you. Even when you're at the grocery store, you're standing there and you got all this stuff going on through your mind, you just learn to relax. So that's one of the things that I've learned over the years that will help me stay out of a lot of stress. Just that simple knowing, just that simple physical exercise will change everything in your life. Just learning to relax, you keep that stress off of you. And one of the things I learned was this: stressing and worrying about has never changed it anyway. Now, that's easy to say, but if you're not practicing that during the daytime or nighttime or whenever, if you're not practicing that enough, it won't happen when those stressful times come. We'll just react to the way we've been reacting all of our lives and the way everybody else reacts to something. So one of the principles you want to learn to do is release and relax. Release and relax. So how many of us, I would like to ask, you can ask this yourself, how many of us have been sitting around for years and thinking about our past? and thinking about how we can change the past. Somebody said something to us in the third grade, or our mother said something to us, father said something to us, or did something to us. And we carry that stuff for the rest of our lives, knowing that we can't change it. I like to ask people to ask themselves, can you undo anything when it's already been done? We don't, but the way the mind works, it makes us sit there in that stuff. That's something that happened 50 years ago, and we're still mad at that person, or what our parents did, or what our mother said. We have to learn to let that stuff go. Right? So we have all these, the reason why we can't get to the place that we want to be and be at peace is because we have all these mental blockages, right? And so until we learn how to do that, we just suffer in life. Now, we're so used to it that it's just part of who we are. And that's not the way, that's not natural for us to do. That's very unnatural. It's just that we've been taught that way, or everybody else does it. And so we just follow along to get along. But on the other hand, nobody teaches us any differently. And that's what one of the things that really gets to me. You know, when you go to these seminars and all this kind of stuff, and they tell you how to do this, well, they tell you what to do, but they don't tell you and be at peace and you should live in abundance and all that, but they don't tell you how to do it. They tell you about behavior things. Don't behave that way. Well, behavior has never really, changing your behavior has never really worked, because when put under stress or in certain situations, our old patterns and behaviors show up again. And that's why, unless we change ourselves at the spiritual core, we don't really change. And that's why I said, you take yourself with you. If somebody is acting up and being dishonest, and you know they are, when they come into your group, unless they're doing some type of spiritual work and they're doing it from an honest, sincere stance, they're going to do the same thing. I've had people to leave other organizations and come to ours, and I appreciate that. I like the volume, but they bring themselves with them, or whatever, or I take myself with me. I don't want to talk about anybody. We take ourselves with us no matter where we go, unless we're doing the work, and that includes relationships or organizations or anything. So expecting other people to be different, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. Maya Angelou said this. She said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them, right? But for some reason, we think that they're going to change because they come into our environment or to our space or our organization or our relationship with us. Because if I treat them nice enough, they're just missing that. If I treat them nice enough, if I'm kinder, if I'm wiser, maybe they'll change. Now, there's some caveats to that. If a person wants to change and you're that leader, or you're that kind of person that people want to be like, then yeah. But if you think that you're gonna push your will on theirs, or here's one of the ones me and Yolanda run across, they're not teachable. We run across that a lot of times, people, especially when they've been successful in life to a certain degree, or they've earned money. I won't say successful, because this business requires, one of the things that it requires, guys, is change, is growth. That's what I love about it. You can go and work for anybody, IBM, Microsoft, AI, it doesn't matter. And you can go there, and as long as you can be a phony and get that work done, you don't have to grow. in this industry, you truly become your brother's keeper. And I love that because it requires, and the people that don't do it normally just don't move that far ahead. Now, I do want to say one thing about success and money. There are people that make money, and on the outside, they look like they're successful, they got it all together. But people that are immoral to a degree, what I'm saying, that's dishonest. They may look like they're successful, they have money, well, they might have money, but inside they're suffering. And that's why they always got to stay busy or be doing something so their minds so they don't settle long enough to have to think about what they're doing to other people. And they're always busy. And to us, it looked like, oh, he's so busy. He's success. No, not necessarily. He's doing that to run from himself, basically. So I guess the next thing I want to say is that as far as our minds are concerned, guys, here's another thing that I've learned. We've been taught reading these positive thinking books. Well, just think positive, and just think about your goal. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying, if you're dealing with life, I'm just talking about life, not the business of life. Do you know that you can't beat your mind? And we spend all of our lives trying to beat our mind, trying to control it. And you can't do it. Our minds are just too disturbed. The patterns are just too deep. You cannot beat your mind. If you think one day, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to grapple with my mind and I'm going to beat it. And when I get it right where I want it, I'm going to be at peace. Well, you can't beat the mind. The mind doesn't work that way. The mind is very disturbed. And if you try and beat it or fight it, it's going to beat you in the end and you're going to suffer. So that's why they say surrender. And it goes back to this. Most of us have heard we've fallen from the Garden of Eden. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in there. We've fallen from the Garden of Eden. Well, that happened, guys, basically. And the things that I'm talking about, you can apply in every area of your life, your business, every area. See, these things must be done before we get to where you want to be. So the goal is not to acquire. The goal is to be first, then the acquire. And there's nothing wrong, you've heard me say this, with having the big homes, the big houses, the big cars, the beautiful relationship, but understand that that's not who you are. You're much bigger than that. We all are much bigger than that. And when you hear people say that, well, we're limitless, well, they're not talking about, or you hear, authors or people of the clergy or whoever's wise people say, we're much bigger than that, right? Or you hear people say that we're limitless. Well, what that means when they say we're not limitless, that doesn't mean that we're not physically limitless, because we are. And that doesn't mean that we are mentally limitless. What that means is that we are spiritually. The real us is limitless. And I'll try and back this up by saying this. So we are not our physical bodies per se. We are not our minds, but we are our soul. You can call it the soul, the spirit, the subconscious, whatever fits your fancy or you're comfortable with, right? You can ask 1,000 people what it is, and you'll get 1,000 different answers. And the ego kicks in and says, well, it's only one right way. And no, it's not. It's right what's right for you. And if it's not infringing on anybody else's beliefs and them or anything, then it's right for you. because what's right for you may not be right for them. So, the saying, when Jesus was healing the sick, the lepers and the sick, and the people were saying to him, hey, Jesus, I could see them saying, hey, guy, hey, man, how do you do that? You know, I'm being coy now. How do you do that? That's so cool. Jesus, how do you do that? That's so wonderful. And Jesus answered them by saying, why are you guys praising me? It's not me that's doing the work. What did he say? He said, it's the God in me that's doing the work. And he went on to say, these things that I'm doing, you are able to do as well, and even greater things. So that's what is meant by we're limitless, we're abundant. All of those things are not what we say, but we think is from the physical world, the five senses, the logical world. And by us thinking that way, we have fallen from the Garden of Eden. So in order for us to get back to the Garden of Eden, where we live in peace and abundant and good health, our thinking gotta change. And I once read that if you're not working toward that, toward working to find out who you really are and living from that perspective, that higher self within us, the soul, the God within us, as Jesus said, it's not me, the God in me. He said, if you're not working toward understanding and living from that standpoint, then everything else is just futile. We're just going around and around and around in circles. And guys, that's why we're going to always have wars and rumors of wars, because based on human mankind, this world doesn't teach, and the physical world doesn't teach peace. It doesn't know how. And it happened thousands of years ago when we fell from the Garden of Eden. We started living from our physical world. We started living from our personal mental world. And we began to leave the truth of ourselves behind. And the world has been messed up ever since. Relationships have been hard ever since. And that's when we had to start working by the sweat of our brow, because we fell from the Garden of Eden. Now, if we want to get back, then we have to learn how to think and do differently. Remember the parable or the scripture, be in this world, but not of this world. Now, guys, this is an individual thing. You can't look to your neighbor or to your sister or to your children or to anybody else and say, boy, it's going to be nice when we all start living from our real natural selves of abundance and good self-esteem and peace and love, right? It's going to be great, but it's not designed that way. We can't change other people. The only person we can change is us as an individual. That's the only person. You know, I used to think that way too. I was so naive. You know, because I have a good heart, I want to change people. I want to see people do good, right? And so there was a time in my life when I went around, well, God has blessed me with this wisdom and this insight at least, and I want to share it with people. And I found out that I was just wasting my time, because most people don't want to change. So, you know, people have to want to do something in order for them to get there, because there are challenges in between those stairs, right? So anyway, one of the things that we've been taught to do, and everybody on this call knows it, we've been taught as human beings to do what? Control and manipulate. Control and manipulate life and situations. And that's why we're so unhappy. We are trying to control things. And with most spiritual teachings, guys, or even wisdom, or positive thinking, you hear all the time, I'm sure, even on this call, surrender, let go. We even teach it in our 8-step program. Stay away from the outcome of the sale or the situation. Well, we should do that about everything in life. This world has been here for, from what I understand, billions of years. And it was doing it and unfolding for billions of years. And guess what? It did it without us being here. But we think that we are right about everything. And if we don't lay our hands on it, then things are not going to work out the way. But if you want peace in your business, just trust, let go and trust. You hear it all the time, but you got to do it. That means let go. Well, I can't do that because it might not turn out the way I think it should be. It's going to turn out, and it's going to turn out the way it's going to be, and you don't have to be stressed about it. Trying to make something turn out the way you want. There's a lot of stress behind that. But we've been taught that, guys. That's a pattern that we have, right? So manipulating an outcome or stressing, it just keeps you stressed out all your life. And it ends up, if you let it go, things normally turn out better than you expected them to. If you learn to relax and let it go. Now, you're not going to do that just by hoping. We're not going to do it by hoping and wishing. We have to do the work. The work's got to be done on an individual basis. So I suggest, since I'm the speaker, suggest that you get books that teach you or that suggest to you how to think from your higher self. See, peace is not something you work for. It's already in us. Abundance is not something that we work for. It's already in us. But we have to let go because that control blocks the natural flow, and the manipulation and the wants and the desires blocks the natural flow of what's in you. We're just not, we think with our 5 senses that we know better than the universe or God, whatever you want to call your higher power. And as long as we think and act from that standpoint, you're going to have to work and earn from the sweat of your brow forever and never be at peace and accomplish the things that you could have accomplished. Now, I want to say this, because the ego is so slick. There is such a thing as spiritual ego too. So you got to watch it when the Bible says, be careful where you get your wisdom from or your knowledge. So be careful, ask for discernment. And what I mean by that, question everything. Just because the crowd is saying it and it sounds all good and everybody's saying the same thing don't mean it's right. Because, I'm one of the things that I've learned is this. Not to judge or anything, as Ruth Ellen was saying, is because is because you look around and everybody's following everybody else and nobody's at peace and nobody's happy and everybody's against each other now, right? Because we're following the processes of the ego and the world, which is, in the end, it always destroys us. We'll never reach our natural state of the God within us. So be careful and watch it. So on your very next decision that you make, whether it's to call somebody or to say something to somebody, ask yourself, what's my motive behind this? Is it because, am I saying this because I have low self-esteem? Because I'm trying to control that person or those people because of my low self-esteem? And I don't know, and I'm operating from the human being side of me and not the real me? Am I making this call to control things? Or am I making this call to be of service and to help somebody? Because everybody that we see, guys, if what I'm saying is true, and I don't mean, some people are going to think this is blasphemy, what I'm about to say, but it can't be blasphemy if it's true. Even if we don't understand something, it doesn't mean it's not true. It just doesn't mean that we haven't experienced that yet, or we just don't understand it. And that is, when you see somebody, whether it's a drunkard or a person, sick person, whatever, you see God there. That's what you see. You are, that God in you is there. And you can't get rid of it just because you don't believe it, or somebody says it's blasphemy. That's why Jesus said what he said. It's not me to do the work. It's not, it's the God in me, guys. So, you know, just be careful if you want to be and get back to the Garden of Eden of change. And I don't mean just behavior. Well, I'm gonna stop doing this, you know, because if you don't change at that spiritual level, then it's really not change at all. Because getting put in the right predicament, the right situation, those old patterns will kick up. And the last thing I'll say about this, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, family, that is, you know, we're always gonna, I mentioned this earlier, have wars, because we live, human beings live from very unnatural, which is the human side of us, the human being side of us. Well, I'm only human. No, you're not. But we hear that, and we use that for an excuse. We do it because that's what we're programmed, and that's what we know, right? And we know it's not working. And you know, one country gets pissed off at another country because they're doing this or they're doing this, and ever since that they don't act the way we act, you know, the Catholics are mad at the Protestants, and the Protestants are mad at the Jews, and so on and so forth. It's just God in us, which is goodness in everybody. All this outside stuff, titles and all that kind of stuff, it makes no difference. I can see God now just saying, y'all are just so silly. But all your titles and your wanting to be separate and controlling somebody else, it's just foolish and silly. So last thing I'll say is this: watch ourselves about things. There's this saying that says, you don't have to lie to me about me. I think this says, it goes, you don't have to lie to me. If I like you enough, I'll lie to myself about you. So I'm gonna, I don't know where we go with that, but I'm gonna leave it there. Do we have any questions behind that? Ruth Ann, Phyllis, Marilyn, anybody else? Any questions about that? What and the reason, guys, Ruth Ellen, I wanted to come up with this stuff is because in longevity, and I mentioned this to Ruth Ellen, we are programmed for products, and basically products only, products and socializing. And network marketing was not really developed for that. That's why Dr. Wallach developed a financial side to it. If he just wanted people to buy products, he didn't have to share that with us. We could just call in directly to his line, and he could sell them directly. But he set it up where we could have some extra money or a lot of money if you choose to. See, I believe this. There's no reason for a person to get in this business and not have money eventually, right? So that's where I always come from, guys, because in this society, we live in a capitalist, you gotta have, right? And we don't have to trick people or manipulate people or be dishonest, because this network marketing, when done right, and if you can see it in depth with wisdom and what it stands for and what it's supposed to do for us and our family, inside and out, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, all that. You can't succeed in this business unless you have a good heart for your other brother. And even if that's in the network marketing side of it, unless you're able to help him get or her get where they want to be, this business won't work for you or work for any of us. So it's a beautiful, beautiful concept that we have here. So with that, I'm going to be quiet. I guess I've talked enough, Ruth Ellen. So
No.
if you guys have any questions or comments, just
Marilyn does have a question, but before I go to Marilyn, I just want to say that, one of the things I love about network marketing is the fact that you have to grow and you have to be willing to help other people grow.
Yeah.
And set a good example. I'm a preacher's kid. Like my dad.
Oh.
I was a children's evangelist.
Wait. Are you now? My wife is not in here. I've dated preacher's daughter. Are you? It's two sides.
There are two sides to that whole thing. But
you're the good twin.
What?
Are you the good twin or the bad twin?
I had my time as the bad twin.
Yeah, okay.
I love it. Years sober now. 31 years in, I think 6 months sober now. So
wow, congratulations.
I went through that.
Yes.
I had to work on me to get where I am and to be a good person. Not that I wasn't a good person, but now I'm a better person than I was. And my dad was a children's evangelist, and he had he used ventriloquism to.
What do you mean?
He was a ventriloquist, so he would.
For real?
For real, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he before he met my mom, or right after he met mom, I'm not sure exactly when, he was on the Vegas Strip in the clubs doing ventriloquism.
Wow.
And so now I forgot what I was going to say. But, so we'll go to Marilyn, and then
train ran off the track. That's okay. It happens to me all the time.
It's okay, because I'll remember in a second. So Marilyn, would you like to ask your question?
Okay.
Hello, Miss Marilyn.
You know what? I don't think a day goes by where I'm not judging somebody. And I think every argument I have with my husband is, why did you think that way? I don't understand you.
Sure.
I mean, I can't believe how hard it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's ever going to change. I think it's an ongoing thing that you have to do every day. Yeah. I mean, is that true? I mean, I don't know. Have you gotten to that point?
Well, and Marilyn, Ruth Ann can tell you, it's about progress, not perfection, right? So it is not going to happen by you saying, I'm not going to argue and I'm not going to judge anybody anymore. It doesn't work that way. You got to read, you got to study, you got to put into practice. And you start with small things, like when your husband says something that ticks you off, you say, this one time, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to judge.
That's a killer.
I'm going to just relax. Well, I'm just going to relax and because all that is ego, right? Because we know what it is. It's ego, right? But we say we can't help. Yes, you can. You can help yourself. So you just do it that one time, and then maybe, and you can argue your butt off for the rest of the day. Then tomorrow, maybe you can do it 2 times, or the next 2 days. Start doing it in a way, the low-hanging fruit, or the next time somebody cuts you off or turns in front of you and don't signal, instead of cussing them all out in your mind, you just relax and you release. Because what good does that do? That person gone about their business, and you, in your mind, you still fussing and causing stress on yourself, and they gone, right? And so that's the way you do it, a little at a time. You're not going to change overnight. You've been this way for 30, 40, 50 years. Don't even put that pressure on yourself, right? Just change a little, read a book. Now, guys, I read a whole lot. And it's been like at one point in my life, Marianne Williamson was a mentor, because she taught love, right? Regardless of her political persuasion, whatever, she taught love, right? And there was about a 5-10 year stint where that's where I was. As we grow, more will be revealed to you as you grow, right? And then the next thing that came into my life, I mean, there were thousands of books before then, but I'm talking about when I got to the point where I was really changing, right? From the inside out, not just behavior. So the next thing is, what's his name? Michael A. Singer. I love that guy. He changed my life completely. Now, guys, here's what I want to say. If you're reading something and just because you don't understand it, or it goes against certain things that you've been taught, well, how's that working out? If you keep following and doing what you're doing, if you're honest with yourself, are you really growing from that standpoint? Ask yourself, am I really growing from this standpoint, or I'm just staying here because I'm in a comfortable place, but I'm not growing, right?
So the first step was when someone like you just brings it to our attention, to make us aware of it. That seems like, at least I'm aware.
Yes, that's my heartfelt intentions. Is we don't know what we don't know until we become aware of it, right? But when you become aware of it, it does us no good if we're not going to do anything about it. We're just aware. It's like having your socks on, washing your feet with your socks on. It doesn't do any good, really. Until so start, grab you. And Michael Singer has all these podcasts, right? And because you don't agree with him, grab the parts that you do agree, or grab the part that's going to make you stretch a little bit. Listen, if we read everything and listened to everything we already agreed on, how could we grow? That's impossible, right? Yeah. So, okay. So thank you, Marilyn. I love, thank you for bringing it up. I love honesty, man. And I like being just us. We ain't got to be all professional when we can get down and be honest and talk about things that's real in life, right? Because all this other stuff, it don't matter. It don't matter. Yeah, Phyllis?
Yes, hello.
My wife is not in here. Phyllis was one of my favorite girlfriends in high school. Don't y'all tell Yolanda. Go ahead, Phyllis.
I love all this that you're saying, and it's something we don't talk about often enough, I think, or I'm sure you do in your working with people, but for the rest of us, such a good reminder. And I wanted to zero in on something you said about how people, something happens and you said, can you go back and change that? No, you can't. And what happens is, as you brought up, people rehearse that over and over in their minds. They just can't let go of it. And it's affecting them to this day, something that might have happened 20, 30, 40 years ago, something your mother did or somebody said. And my husband, Andy, is kind of famous for delving deeply into the word resentment. Well, because we've got all these layers.
Sure.
And it's like an onion, you know, you get the little ones at the top and oh my goodness, it just goes down and down as you become more observant and aware of this in your own memories and rehashing in your mind where you're not experiencing the present moment, right? If you're back in your mind. But the root of the word resentment, I believe it's Latin, to do over and over again. And I think the verb is sentire, to feel. You re-feel it over and over again. And that's the literal meaning of the word resentment. And I really do think that these negative emotions we experience of anger and depression and frustration all go back to some experience that we didn't let go of. That's deep inside, buried, and we're resenting it still. Yeah. And it's so powerful just to use that as a practice to observe. Am I resenting what he just said or what that guy said so many years ago? You know, and why? You realize it makes no sense, and you just, and like you said, we don't necessarily have the power to make it go away, right? We just need to realize we don't want that in there anymore and be in that state of mind where we can let go of it. And that's all I wanted to say, but you said so many powerful things and they sound simple, but they're very deep. So I'm really enjoying it.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Phyllis. One of the techniques, because, you know, somebody to do. Okay. So one of the techniques that I've learned, and I learned it through, and I've been to all kind of psychiatrists and 12-step programs and all of that. For me, one of the things that helped me, and the word resentment wasn't even used. And he says this: the way you get rid of those resentments is this, or the way you that past, as you were talking about, Phyllis, is when they come up, that thought from the third grade, and say we don't even go to family reunions or class reunions anymore because 50 years ago we still mad at Janet for taking my boyfriend or embarrassing me, right? 50 years ago we won't even go or talk to them. Yeah, our lives should be just like you said. Should be when you meet that person, Janet, it should be like the first time you met her is today, and all that past is the past because you can't change it. But here's what it changed my life, because this resentment stuff, I couldn't let it go. All that fear, it was blocking me from the sunlight of my blessings, of blocking me from the real me, the God in me, right? So here's what you do. Allow those thoughts to come up. Whatever resist, persist. Right? Whatever we resist, persist. So allow those negative thoughts. I don't care what it is, how bad it is, because you can't change it. Right? You can't undo what's done. I'm not saying it was good or bad or even evil. Right? But when they come up, which they come up, if you're anything like me, they come up every 2 or 3 seconds, all day, every day. And so what you do, you allow them to come up. Don't try not to, well, do your best not to judge them, because all we're doing here is doing our best, not being perfect. And it gets better and better as time goes on, the more we practice it. Allow it to come up. Because see, we don't like to feel that hurt and we don't like to feel uncomfortable, right? But knowing this is part of the process, you're gonna feel uncomfortable. So allow these negative thoughts to come up, or whatever to come up, and then you let them play out. And then you say to yourself, I relax and I release you. And you're gonna be the rest of our lives, we're going to be seeing I relax and I release you. For me, because they coming up all the time. I've been doing this stuff for 55 years. I mean, you know, I'm in my 70s. I've been so here's what you say. And it might sound coy or stupid or whatever, or not even any depth to it. But here's what changed my life. You relax and you release. You relax, because when you allow that stuff to stay down in there, it's like a cesspool of rot, right? And so every time, if we don't release this stuff, it stays there, just like going to a restaurant and get some, I guess you get some spoiled food and take it home with us, and then every day take a bite of it. That's a good analogy, I guess. But allow it to come up. Don't run from it. Don't, like we've been doing all our lives, right? So we supposed to be in control of ourselves. Now, all that is a bunch of crap, right? So let it come up. I don't care what it is, how bad it is. All day long, relax and release. You say that to yourself. Now, in the beginning, Phyllis is not going to feel comfortable, and is not going to, because when I say that, well, all these programs I've been to, you think just saying that is going to change anything? That was my physical body, my logical 5 senses saying that. And then it says, well, you've been trying it that way all your life. Has it changed anything? Nope. Well, maybe you should try something different, Mr. Smarty Pants. Right? So here's the technique, guys. When those things come up, and they mostly do all day long, you just say to yourself, allow it. Don't push it back down in there as if it hadn't existed. Allow yourself to feel uncomfortable. It hadn't killed you to this point, and it won't kill you if you start using something to release it. Now, they're going to keep coming up over and over. I started doing this work, relaxing and releasing, probably about 2-3 years ago. And some of this stuff still come up, but it doesn't have the same effect on me as it used to. I'm not depressed or get down. And a lot of things start happening to you, even physically. And that's why people go insane, is because we have all these thoughts in our head of the past, and we don't know what to do with them. We're aware, but we don't know what to do. We can't change them. And then the future can be just as bad. We start projecting the future is going to be bad, right? Or it's going to be like this. And that's where lack set in, right? So even with that, and I wanted to say something about that, lack, because people think lack. So when you're about to buy something or not buy something, or ask yourself this, is this coming from a place of lack, the human side of me? Because there is, in reality, our natural self, there is no lack. Now, I'm not saying go out there and get in debt, but you got to work your way up to knowing that you're not lack. Okay. Somebody else had their hand up. I guess I better.
Keely did.
Who?
Keely. If you want to unmute, Keely, you can ask your question. There you go.
Hi, Raymond. How are you? How are you, my dear?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm not too bad. I want to go back a little bit on what you said, because I love the fact when somebody says let go, because it's really about surrendering. Mm-hmm. And we don't want to surrender to a God greater than us. So we turn around and we project our own inadequacies on others instead of asking one simple question. That if I am judging somebody, what about them is really about me that I'm putting on them, but I don't want to see.
Yep.
And if you know, like Marilyn gave that example about, you know, I judge my husband almost every day, that very honest statement, that's because you judge yourself and you project it out because they're not meeting your thought process. So then it's about going inward and saying, so what is it about me that I judge? Because I can't give what I don't have. And I think the benefit of surrender is when we do our own work, we work on our triggers and we understand it, then we can give people unconditional love and support without the judgment.
Yep. You can't love anybody unless you love yourself. Oh. And we think that we're going to find it outside of ourselves. And Keely, it boils down to this, what you're saying. You can't fix an inside problem with an outside solution.
You got it.
Right?
You got it.
Yep. Thank you for that, Keely. I appreciate it.
I
love to learn.
The other thing is about the resentment. Resentment is, I call it a soul call. It's
a what? I'm sorry. What did you say? You call it a what?
Call a soul call. That it's your mind, will, and your mind, will, and emotions have unfinished business. And the resentment that comes up is a call to heal. Your soul wants to heal. So it's going to come through getting agitated or triggered or frustrated, but it's about you. It's not about who you're projecting it to.
Right.
And if people understand that if you have a reaction or to something somebody says, that's about you. It's not about the other person. They're just telling you who they are, what they believe, and what they've experienced. They might not be able to know what to do about it, but to meet them where they are and ask one question. So why do you believe that? It changes the dynamic from judging them to really seeking first to understand. And it postpones all that judgment, because you're really then coming alongside of them and say, well, that's interesting. Why do you believe that? You might still be triggered, but if you get the information, you will understand what about you is being triggered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you for bringing up those points.
No, thank you. I love to learn. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll see you tomorrow night on your call.
Yeah. Come join us.
Okay. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, Keely. Yeah, so guys, it's about reading. And guys, don't get off this call and just say, oh, Raymond was a good speaker and we love his wisdom. I appreciate that, guys. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I do. But if we don't do anything about it, it's just entertainment. We are grown folks here. We have to do grown folk stuff, right? I mean, this stuff what are we projecting? What are we inferring onto our children and our grandchildren? See, they talk about, and you've heard me talk about this, that they talk about, what is that? Generational wealth. We leave our children. Well, I think that is a very low bar, because I don't care how much you leave. They can marry the wrong person. They can make bad decisions. That wealth is gone. Number of years, 10 years, it could be gone. And there's some statistics that back that somewhere. But if you live from wisdom, from your true self, because you got to remember, guys, this is not something extra that we're doing. This is just getting back to who we really are, our natural selves, right? And that's why you don't search for peace. It's already in us. You search for that God within you on an individual basis, that goodness, or that not even goodness, that the principles that's in us. That's what you work. Anything else is just a waste of time that you're working for. Anything, it really is, because that's what it boils down to. All this outside human behavior stuff, it doesn't matter. Everything we have, we leave in here anyway. And if you don't, I used to, when I was younger, I used to hear people say that, but I didn't believe it. I thought I was going to live forever. But now I got more yesterdays than I do tomorrow. I know I ain't taking none of this stuff with me. So leave your children and your grandchildren wisdom. Let them see you working toward getting back to your natural state. Somebody's always watching us, guys, believe it or not. It may be a niece, a grandchild, a neighbor, a friend. Somebody's always watching you. You don't know it, but they are. So let's get on an individual basis, get back to who you really are and be at peace. Because those other people, I mean, you know, these great, I mean, I think about Robin Williams, who was a great comedian. I love that guy, Mork and Mindy and all that, killed himself. And it basically, unless it was a chemical dysfunction or something in his body or brain, that it was those thoughts that makes us depressed, those human thoughts. And you can't fix it from a human standpoint. You can't. You can be guided, but you can't be fixed. Okay. Are we good? Phyllis, I see you Ruth Ellen, I see you staring around. It must be time for us to go. Is that my cue?
No, it's just, well, yeah, it is time to go. Those are very
I can talk about this stuff all day, guys.
So I know that's one of the things I love is that you just go and go. And all of it is so true, you know, because we have to choose to release the things from the past and you know, being a person who has gone through the 12 steps and sobriety and I cannot change one thing that I did way back when.
Right.
I can't change what I did 5 minutes ago.
Right.
And I still, we call it people renting space in your head for free.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things people say, and you know, and I'm guilty of this. I allow people to rent space in my head really quite often and too much. And I've had a lot of time to contemplate over the last few years, especially. And, you know, life is really precious and our minds are really precious. And how we feel and treat ourselves is even more precious. And how we treat other people is a reflection sometimes of how we feel inside of ourselves. And it's very, very precious to treat people with kindness. That is like one of the things I always say when I sign off is to be kind, because nobody knows what somebody else is going through. And sometimes what they're going through is that internal noise in their head that they can't shut up. You know, I have a very dear friend who I've known my entire life, and I love them like more than family. You know, like they mean something to me, very much so. And sometimes this person gets really, really down and we get scared, you know? Mm-hmm. And fortunately they reach out and we talk about it as much as they will allow, of course. But, you know, so yeah, that internal dialogue is just, it can be, like you said with Robin Williams, it can be deadly.
Yeah, it never leaves us alone. And here's the thing, the mind can never, once I accepted that the mind can never figure stuff out. It never can. Now it has its gifts, like it can do things, certain things. It has its own, but it never can figure stuff out. If it could figure its stuff out on a physical, on a human basis, everybody would be at peace. Right. You can write a book and everybody would be at peace. But the thing is to use that technique of allowing it to come up 1,000 times a day and say to yourself, I relax and I release you 1,000 times a day. Because it never leaves you alone. It never, ever. Yeah, I'll say this. One of the things, because I was having this conversation with one of the guys who's an executive for this company here in Houston. And we were talking about, highly educated guy, why we have prejudices, right? And why we are mad at one another now, you know, Republican, Democrat, Independent. And what it boils down to, you know why we have prejudices, guys? Is because of our own low self-esteem. We got low self-esteem, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. That's what it boils down to, low self-esteem. And we want somebody to feel a certain way or think a certain way. And they don't. And it affects our esteem because we don't feel, the mind tells us we're not accomplishing what we need to accomplish to feel good about ourselves. So if I dislike you, that's supposed to help me feel good about myself. But it's only temporary, because after that's gone, after you hate that person for whatever, here it comes back again, and you're going to hate somebody else or some other group, because that's inside of you. And it's not the group, it's not the husband, it's not the cousin, it's us, as Keely was saying. Yeah. And as Phyllis was saying, and you. And so.
Very true. So we do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You can say no, and I could give this person the information in a different way. But Bruce, who is loving you, you're amazing.
Thank you, Bruce.
He wants to know if it's okay to ask for the link to Mr. Brown's Thursday night meeting. But I don't know if you want to put it out there on YouTube and Facebook and everything, you know.
Yeah, of course, Bruce, man. Everybody's is welcome to that call. We've been doing that call 26 years now. Welcome to that call. So everybody, and you can even bring guests, because what it is, we talk a little bit about Dr. Wallach, a little bit. We talk a little bit about ZRadical, because it's on Thursday night call, Bruce, unfortunately, is not any of this stuff we're talking about today. It's about the product and testimonials. Talk about FucoidZ, right? And some people have, every once in a while, some people talk about the Healthy Start Pack and testimonials. So that's basically what it's about. But we have a good time. You know, we have fun. And that's what this is all about. Now, let me end by saying, well, I'll stay on long as you want me to, but have fun doing this, guys. Don't make this so serious, or your life so, you only got one time. Have fun. I heard that I read that one time that Earth is God's playground. Have some fun while you're here. We only go around in this chapter one time, from what I understand. So have some fun. Don't be so serious about you know, even when you're doing your work, like relaxing and releasing, or when you're in the car, I relax my shoulders, I relax my chest, I relax my stomach. Have fun doing it. Say maybe every time I go through a door, or every time I'll use it then, or whatever. Make fun of it. Make fun.
Yes, that's a good idea. Sometimes I'll learn to, I forget where, and I need to release something and I can't like let it go. This girl I used to know, I think I met her in a Reiki class or something. And she said, just go like this with your hands, you know, just turn the water on your sink and put it on cold. And then put your hands around the stream and just say, release, let it go, and transmute it with love. I'll tell you what, that saved my butt. I don't know how many times, because I wanted to kill somebody.
Hey, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you.
Yeah,
whatever works for you. But that technique seems to, the other technique seems to.
Yeah, I mean, but that was just my way of being able to kind of visualize it going away from me, and really.
You're gonna kill somebody.
I can't tell you.
Well, you were hot, man. You were mad. We all been there.
Well, thank you so much for today. We've gotten a lot of comments about Olga has said suicide is on an increase, and men, sadly, it's moving on me. I'm sorry. Men, sadly, are more successful at it. We lost a young colleague recently. So, yes, be kind. And we're so sorry, Olga. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Olga. But just think about this, guys. Think about this. If we could start our children out thinking this way, and letting them know that they're much more than human, that they're really inside them God, and they're much more than the education. They're much more than the house. They're much more than what we call worldly success. They're bigger than that. If we could start living that and teaching that where they see it, think about the lives we could save. Because everybody's trying to use common sense and logic to save, to get through in life. And it doesn't work. And as you say, as Olga was saying, and there's more people dying and dying now with this social stuff, these children dying. What if we could teach them and we could save one, right? What if after this conversation that we're having today, somebody was depressed, right? And we could save them 1 day or 1 hour of depression. Now they have the tools, they have the awareness, first of all. And now they have the tools of being able to relax and release. And I want to suggest to everybody, you use what you want to use, but there are podcasts with Michael Singer. I don't get no money from that, by the way, guys. All right. That you can listen to he got hundreds of them you can listen to all day long that will help you. If you're willing to just a little bit, put it into practice, just a tiny bit each day.
Yes.
Phyllis.
Yes, that's important. I have this thing I do that I don't know. I just started doing it when I first got sober, and it was like I had 5-second days, and then it was 10, and it was 20, and then it was 5 minutes. And I have a coin that says 10 minutes. I can do anything for 10 minutes. I have given several of my sponsees and a dime, like just hold the dime and count it as 10 minutes. Just do whatever it is for 10 minutes. Change your thoughts.
I'm not getting it.
Okay, so I'm gonna get real green here.
Okay. Yeah, we're here to learn.
Okay, so I'm gonna admit this. Okay, well, I used to smoke crack and drink alcohol and do all kinds of drugs. Sure. I never injected anything.
I would have been smoking crack in college. I did it all that was available. Crack just wasn't around.
Yes. So
look here. It was great. It was a great learning experience. I don't regret any of it.
Yes. Well, I can't 100% say that, but I did learn a lot in my journey.
Can I say something before, and then I'll be quiet? Every blade of grass that we stepped on was necessary in order for us to become the people that we are today.
This is true. I'm still working on forgiving myself 100%. So. Okay. So when I got sober and my hands were used to doing certain things to satisfy my brain's need for chemicals, I would repeat to myself, I can do this. I don't need to do that. I can do this. I can do this. So I had days where it was 5 seconds in between thoughts of I can do this. I don't need to chop a line or smoke weed or whatever it was. It was 5 seconds. And then it was 10. And then it was like a whole minute. And then it was longer. And now it's 31 years and I think 6 months. I don't know how many days that is, but I have a calculator thing that it's a sober one that would tell me how many thousands and thousands of days I have. So when I meet somebody, I say, and this is true for me. I mean, you know my story of the last few years, which we're not sharing here. But I had to just get through everything 10 minutes at a time. So it was 10 minutes. And then, so that dime represents 10 pennies, right? Wow. So I would tell my sponsees, 10 minutes. If you need to hold a penny, whatever it is that you can like focus on something tangible that you could feel. Because then you're not thinking, I want to go leave and go down the block where I can get whatever. I can be right here and just do 10 minutes. And then you can even set a timer and then like do something for 10 minutes to occupy yourself, and then before you know it, you have years of sobriety, years of peace in your mind, because, some people are alive because of that.
Wow.
I mean,
that's that little technique right there.
Yeah, I'm going to get emotional. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, sorry. That was important. So anyway, before we do need to, MM Rod, I think out there on YouTube, is saying, hello, everyone. Raymond is so insightful and practical. It's a fact that to be in this business, you have to be a better person first. And yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach. Yeah.
There was a comment.
That brother, one of my favorite. I did love, he gets on our calls. I love Rod. I love Coach Rod. Yeah. I'm going to end by saying this because I know it's time for us to go. Well, the guys, what I'm sharing is nothing like out of the norm. All of us, each and every human being, or if you would, every being that's born, regardless of their born with brain dysfunctions or physical dysfunctions, we was born with this spirit, this God within us, this wisdom within us. It's not something that's given to some people. Some people may be able to express it in a way, but each and every one of us have this. And when we get off this call today, that's something that you should acknowledge, and you're going to have to accept if you want to live and be the person or the spiritual being you were designed to be, you came here to be. You see, you have it in you. It's not like, oh, Raymond is so special, or Pastor so-and-so is so special, and all of that. No, it's you. You have to take responsibility for that. You're the greatest thing that ever walked the face of this earth because you were designed that way. And nobody can take that from you but you. So when you find yourself thinking all them crazy thoughts, relax, release it, and that'll start heading you back to who we really are. And that's a whole chain of dominoes once that starts. The children and the friends in the neighborhood begin to pick up on it. And there's a saying where I'm from. I'm from the streets, guys. I'm from the hood, but I'm educated. So I've been on both sides. There's a saying in the hood, I can't hear what you're saying for what you're doing. You can talk all the good game you want to, but what does your action say? You can get in church and hoop and holler, and we can get together how good God is, but are you at peace? Are you living abundantly? Are you living with good self-esteem? Are you doing the work? Because now you're aware of it. You can't go back. Once the bell is rung, it's rung. Now, what are we going to do about it to become who we were really born to live, or how we were really born to live? So with that,
thank you so much. This has
been
y'all. Really amazing and powerful. And so I want to thank my co-hosts who have been here helping. And so we have Marilyn, who has been,
Marilyn, you're going to fuss at your husband. Go and fuss at him.
She's been typing almost every single word that you say. Right. Okay. In the Zoom chat. That's the benefit of being here. So she's been typing away to make sure that everybody can have it. The information, if they want to take a screenshot. I'm sorry, I got a little emotional there. No, I'm not sorry. I gotta stop saying that. And then we have Phyllis, who is also helping with the chat and is also out there on the different platforms and helping out that way. And also, she's a sweet lady, and I appreciate her very much too. I appreciate you all.
Thank you all for being here and doing that. You
Yes.
don't know what you're doing for people out here. You know,
This
you just
is
get
true.
on after a while. You know, it's kind of like having a Rembrandt on your wall, right? It's a beautiful thing. It's something you can brag about. But eventually you come down the stairs and you see it on the wall. It just is just a picture, right? And
Yeah.
we take that for granted. Even we take ourselves for granted for doing these things sometimes. So, you know, give yourself a pat on the back for doing it. You're being of service.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, very much. And then we have Sherry, who is part of our tech crew, and she helps set everything up.
Mm-hmm.
She takes what I send to her and puts it out onto the different platforms. And today she's been our gatekeeper as well, because Albert is away at another event today. So thank you, Sherry, and thank you, Albert, for what you do when you're here.
And she's got part of my name too. I like Sherry Brown.
Yes. Amazing. And then we have Rod, who's out there on the different platforms and talking to people, and then helps out with the gatekeeping when necessary. And so thank you for all that you do, Rod. And I'm
Rod.
Yeah. I'm Ruth Ellen Sanchez, and I just want to thank you all for joining us today. And also want to give a shout out to AJ, who had to leave early. Thank you for all that you do, our digital marketing director. And if you would like to call and talk to a certified holistic health coach, our phone number is 855-949-3377. And if you're struggling out there, there are suicide prevention hotlines. I don't have the number, but please reach out to somebody. And then if you have questions for us or want to make a comment to Raymond, you can email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. And this program was for educational purposes only. And I think I've said everything. I'm very emotional. This is amazing. I love it. Be kind. Be kind. Just be kind and show love. And if you can't, walk away. Give yourself a minute. Anyway, thank you, Raymond. I can't wait till you're on again. And I know your lovely wife is going to join us next month. And thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. And we're going to be, I suppose to announce this, we're going to be, Yolanda and I are going to be on the, Stan and Laurie's call tonight. I think it's 7:30. Is that 7:30 Central Time?
I think so.
Rod, Coach? It is? Okay. So we're going to be there talking about FucoidZ and ZRadical and those types of things and what it does and that kind of stuff. So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And have a beautiful day, everyone. And we'll see you again tomorrow. And our guest tomorrow is Adrian Gold. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor.